Story 1. Swimming. Hearing from adult friends that they literally cannot swim and are terrified of water was a huge surprise for me. I have no idea how this basic survival skill is not an educational requirement for every child who is physically able to participate. Story 2. Basic vehicle maintenance and repair. If you drive a car, you should be able to change a tire, check your fluids, and replace windshield wipers. Story 3. Swimming and driving a car with a manual transmission are skills that will never hurt to know, whether you use them or not. Story 4. Speaking the predominant language of the area or country you are residing in will make life easier for everyone. Just learning a few key words can help. Story 5. Swimming. I am always shocked when I meet an adult who cannot swim. You are missing out on many fun activities during vacation. Story 6. They should learn how to perform cardiopulmonary resuscitation as it may help save lives. Story 7. Reading upside down. When in your boss's office, you can see what is on the desk. Always interesting. Story 8. Touch typing or learning to type quickly is essential. Most people will use a computer in their lives, and some will spend up to 12 hours a day on one. It is as important as learning to write. Story 9. Bro, how many times is this exact question going to be posted here? I feel like I see the same question posted at least twice a day. Most non-player character question on the platform. At what point do you just scroll down and see what other people have been saying for the 100th time? Story 10. Skills to easily interact with people. Nowadays, I still find difficulties in interacting with people. Story 11. Cooking. Shooting a firearm. Regardless of your personal feelings about firearms, they exist in this world and are very dangerous. At the very least, you should become familiar with them for your own safety. Story 12. Communication skills. Most people seem to struggle with them. Friends, family, clients, please reply to the message or email so we can complete the task we discussed on time, without me having to follow up to find out if you actually want to proceed. Story 13. Many young people do not know how to use a paper map for navigation and rely too much on their phones. Story 14. An instrument can be a flute, keyboard, or even a triangle. Once you have an understanding of the basics, music never sounds the same. You are always analyzing the music you hear on a deeper level whether you want to or not. Story 15. Basic mechanical drawing. I took a one-semester class in the 7th grade. I am a woodworker, and the number of times people have given me drawings of things they want me to make that are just incomprehensible jumbles of lines makes me weep. Story 16. How to argue. I am not talking about yelling and screaming. I am referring to logically and calmly presenting points and trying to reach the most accurate possible conclusion without any insults or common logical fallacies. Story 17. Mending. I am honestly shocked that most people cannot sew a button back onto something or fix a simple tear or hole. Story 18. With 75% of the world covered in water and floods becoming increasingly common, I would say swimming is the most important skill to learn. Story 19. Cooking and basic household chores like cleaning, personal hygiene and skincare, car maintenance to avoid being overcharged at the garage for simple repairs, especially for women, money management, basic survival skills. Story 20. Cooking. You do not have to be a chef, but knowing how to prepare a decent meal really makes life easier. Story 21. Believe the best about the people you have chosen to be with. Many relationships are lost because of assumptions and miscommunications. Story 22. Reading. I work in education, or at least education adjacent. I am a docent at a museum, and we have many school groups. The number of children aged 10 to 13 who cannot read, are not in special education classes, and do not see the point of learning to read because their computer will read and write for them is depressing. Story 23. Break your routine. Try to do something new this week that you have never done and is accessible to you. Morning walk. Watch a sport you have never seen. Story 24. Outside of cooking, swimming, and basic automobile repair, I would say the basics of programming. Learning programming helps with decision-making in other aspects of your life. I mean, very basic things like flowcharting and using tools such as Raptor. Story 25. As a chef, I am baffled by how many people have no idea how to cook simple dishes like pasta with tomato sauce, and even less understanding of what to eat or how to recognize a lack of vitamins or minerals. You are what you eat, and you need to take care of your body. Story 26. Emotional regulation is important. Some people in my family believe that not regulating their emotions, especially when interacting with others, is an acceptable form of behavior. This causes significant harm to those around them, and they are mostly unaware of it. I understand that regulating emotions is not always easy, especially depending on the context, but I am surprised by how many adults lack this skill. Story 27. How to properly maintain knives and scissors. There are many gimmicky tools that do a poor job or even damage blades. Some tools are often used incorrectly. Additionally, there is a lot of low-quality kitchenware marketed as high-end for which people overpay. Story 28. A second language, especially a commonly spoken one like Spanish or Chinese, can open more doors. Story 29. How to be angry at a situation and not a person. When unpleasant things happen, we want a target for our anger, and in looking for one, we can blame undeserving people. Sometimes something just really sucks, and it is okay to be upset about what happened without directing that anger at anyone. Story 30. Embracing rhetorical and logical consistency. I just reconnected with an old friend who, God help her, is one of the most autistic people I have ever met in my life. They hosted me at their place a few weeks ago, and my wife and I had them over yesterday. I kept finding myself having to hold my tongue, so I did not say, "You are not nearly socially safe enough to be this annoying to them. It is not a good look." Story 31. Good thread, original poster, and good responses from honest people. I would suggest proper hygiene. It is okay if you do not want to wear deodorant, but if your genital area smells like your armpits and your armpits smell like your buttocks, then you need a constructive slap upside your head to be taken somewhere with running water and a bar of soap by a parental figure. That parental figure needs to tell you they are not mad, but they are disappointed. Story 32. Another language. Just because you speak English does not mean that everyone has to. Many people who speak a language other than English know more languages than their primary language. It also helps with accents. It drives me up the wall when people cannot understand my mom when she is pronouncing words accurately and asking customer service for help, and they look at her with wide eyes and treat her badly. Story 33. Basic automotive maintenance includes changing a tire, changing oil, jump-starting a battery, changing and gapping spark plugs, and changing brake pads. Much of it is easy and can save you a lot of money or help you out in difficult situations. Story 34. Sewing. Nothing fancy, but people should at least try to learn how to sew on a button and repair a small tear. Story 35. Know how to give your opinion directly and firmly, and at the same time, learn to listen. It is incredible how many adults do not know how to express their opinions without denigrating others or in a relaxed way. At the same time, they do not know or do not want to listen to people who have different opinions. They only listen when you tell them what they want to hear. Story 36. For anyone who drives, most Americans, here is how to change to a spare tire. It absolutely baffles me that so many people commute every day by car or truck and do not know how to change to their spare tire, or whether their vehicle has all the necessary tools. Story 37. Microsoft Excel and cloud management. I can manage my finances or organize miscellaneous data on any device with an internet connection. I also have access to most of my low-level documentation. My wife can access my phone and retrieve anything she would need in an emergency. It is impressive, but I always have what I need. Story 38. Learn to take notes effectively and efficiently. It will free you up to think about other things or to remember tasks to do later. You earn additional credit for learning basic ciphering and creating your own system, so you can keep a physical record of passwords and other personal information. Story 39. Hard copy research will be extremely valuable going forward since it is hard to trust anything digital. Story 40. Active listening means you do not just listen. You show you are listening by reflecting back what you heard the person say. It feels awkward at first, but it is a huge help in making conversations once you master it. Story 41. Using and understanding qualified statements. The question is rarely whether something is entirely true or false, but rather being able to understand and communicate accurately the extent of something seems to be currently quite rare. Story 42. I don't know how to swim, and the number of answers to this thread that mention swimming is a bit overwhelming. Why do you think it is so important? If you never have any interaction with water or interest in being in bodies of water, why is it important at all? Depending on the answers, I might go learn to swim, so thank you. Yes, the reason I don't know how to swim is trauma. When I was young, I had otitis at the time I was supposed to learn how to swim, but I was always afraid of water and the feeling of pressure in my ears. I never made any effort to fix that because I never saw the need, and I don't like being in water anyway. Story 43. Changing a tire. Although some cars no longer have a spare and come with a tire repair kit and an inflator, it will not help if the issue is in the sidewall. Story 44. How to whistle, even better with the louder finger whistle. On another note, I need to learn how to roll my RS. Story 45. Swimming. You should know how to swim. You may never need it, but when you do, you will be grateful that you have the skill. Story 46. Making fart noises with your armpit. At some point in everyone's life, there will come a time when it is required, and not everyone is prepared. Story 47. Being a member of team and individual sports. Exercises to prevent body deterioration. What basic vitamins and minerals the body requires. How to determine if foods are highly refined. How to calm the body and mind. Story 48. How to research a topic without relying on what other people tell you, and how to determine if the information is from a reputable source. Story 49. I have a list. Basic life-saving skills: cardiopulmonary resuscitation and automated external defibrillator, choking, stroke, heart attack, drown-proofing, basic water rescue, alarm, contain, extinguish for fires, and using a fire extinguisher. Basic tool use: change a flat tire, simple plumbing, and household repairs. Household management: cleaning, laundry, household expenses, simple meals, and a great show-off or date night meal. Life management: job hunting, investing, dealing with conflict, seeing through misleading advertisements or reports, knowing basic logical fallacies. Story 50. How to communicate through active listening instead of listening to respond, coming from someone who is working on their active listening skills. The next time you are in a conversation with someone, try focusing on what they are saying by repeating their words in your head instead of thinking about how to respond. Then, make them feel heard by addressing what they said before you respond. For example, if your friend is talking about a difficult situation at work, instead of saying, "That sucks," try saying, "It really sucks that X happened. Did it end up getting resolved? This is just an example. I am still working on it myself." Story 51. Listening means learning to stop talking and actively listen. The more you practice this, the less conflict you will have, and everyone will like you. Story 52. Critical thinking. Cooking. Performing basic vehicle maintenance. Social skills. Algebra. At least a 12th grade reading and writing ability. A foreign language. Story 53. Cooking is an activity that not everyone may love, but it allows you to have great variety in your meals and helps you learn more about different cultures. Story 54. How to use the search bar. Story 55. Cooking. I only know a few halfway decent recipes, but it is enough to make my life so much simpler. Story 56. Basic medical training and first aid. Do not immediately pour hydrogen peroxide on an open wound or cut. Do not wrap it only with rolled gauze immediately. Story 57. Basic financial knowledge is essential. I cannot overstate the importance of understanding the fundamentals of investing money, saving money, budgeting properly, and navigating the banking system. Many people struggle with money because they were never taught these skills at school or among peers. I had to learn from a close relative who gave me a book to study. I credit that book and the discussions it inspired for teaching me important money management skills. The fact that I never learned any of these skills at any level of school, including college, is a significant oversight. Story 58. Exit the application when you turn off your phone. Seriously, this has saved me from many awkward situations. Story 59. Learn the basics of real estate and finance. It may seem unimportant for those not interested in working in the field, but it can be very useful. Story 60. Healthy and cost-effective grocery shopping, cooking, budgeting, and goal setting. Debate and using multiple sources for your information. Critical thinking, social skills, writing in cursive. Story 61. Cooking. It's frustrating when someone does not know how to cook. It costs more to eat out, it is almost always less healthy, it is a creative outlet, it impresses partners and doubles as a nice thing you can do for them. It gives you a better appreciation for when you eat other people's food, including dining out, and it helps you develop a better relationship with food in general. Being a great cook is not easy, but being a good one is. Just follow the recipes. Story 62. Communication is important and can help you get ahead regardless of your knowledge level. How you communicate makes a significant difference in how you are perceived. Story 63. Basic sewing. Being able to sew on a button or hem a basic pair of pants can save you a lot of money in the long run. Story 64. Learn how to drive. Merge. Use turn signals. Park. Learn to change your tire and put on your spare. Learn to plug your tire if you do not have a spare. Learn to use basic hand tools. Learn to perform basic maintenance on your vehicle. It will last longer. Learn to build. Learn to use a hammer and power tools. Learn to work with your hands. Learn to cook. Learn to appreciate. Learn to be less entitled. Story 65. Doing your own taxes in the United States. Most people have simple tax issues and can use the short form. It is not hard at all. Story 66. Vibe. Many people would benefit from simply learning to be, also known as enjoying the silence and taking in the fresh breeze on a bench with beautiful sights. Just sit and see what happens. Story 67. Being financially literate is important. You do not have to make risky investments, but at least you should know how to budget. At a minimum, you should understand that using your credit card for unnecessary expenses is not a good idea. Story 68. Communication and conversational skills are much more important than you might imagine. Surprisingly, not many people have these skills naturally. Being able to speak confidently, guide, and control conversations is a powerful tool that can help you in many ways. Story 69. How to make conversation. You should have people close to you, and you could share a secret code in case of an emergency. Story 70. Apparently, I am at my peak human abilities at 25. All of these things seem very obvious, and I cannot believe people struggle with them. Having a brain has made me very jaded. I honestly fear it will take my life someday. Story 71. Small engine repair. I spent years thinking it was complicated and then took a class. It is not that complicated. It can be hard, such as dealing with stuck bolts, but not complicated. Story 72. Critical thinking helps you make clearer decisions and understand the world around you. Many people believe critical thinking is something only intelligent individuals can do or that it is learned only in university. There are some correlations, but it is really just a process that anyone can learn, like the scientific method taught to most people as children. Story 73. Basic car maintenance and repair. Changing your own oil, checking and replacing fluids and bulbs, how to jumpstart a car, and more. Brakes are much easier to fix than you think and will save you thousands of dollars over time. Story 74. If you are in a corporate job, structured query language is important. Just understanding the basic syntax and joins and how to write a basic query can be very beneficial, and it is not super complicated. Story 75. Learning to cook is like unlocking a real-life cheat code. Cheaper, healthier, and impressively mature. Story 76. Basic emotional regulation. Learning how to respond instead of react is a game changer for every area of life. Story 77. Learn to enjoy your own company. Life is better shared with other people, but at least you will not have to depend on others to live. You will be able to let go more easily too. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.